So, how many sets and reps should I do? This is a question I don't know how many times a day I get. And it makes me laugh because it's such a complicated question. It's not really that simple. Now, it might appear to be simple on the surface, right? Oh, what's the best sets and reps that I should do to get better, to get stronger? And it's a fair question, too, especially someone who's just getting into strength and conditioning and weightlifting and training and working out. Well, you want to know, how many of these things should I do? But the unfortunate nature is that your body is actually really, really smart. And it's smarter than you think. And what I mean by that is a lot of times people err on the side of, let's do as many reps as I possibly can. And that's a fair, I guess. And there is some benefit to that, but maybe not the most benefit. Now, on the other side, people go, I must leave this workout being sore. I must leave it being tired. I must leave it run down. Also, I get where that comes from, but not really the best answer. At the end of the day, I like the concept of you want to be as fresh as you can and lift as much weight as you can every day. Now, those are two stipulations within it, right? As fresh, so you're not always the freshest. Sometimes you're kind of tired. You do have some residual fatigue from previous workouts. But you want to lift as much weight as you can. And what I mean by as you can, it's not necessarily how many reps I can do, but it's an intensity that's comfortable enough to evoke a muscular adaptation. An intensity in terms of weight. Now, you don't need to do a 1 rep max every day. That's not what that quote means. But I think it does tell you that we should focus on getting stronger. And by measuring your strength gains, especially as a new gym goer with this New Year's resolution, that's the best way to understand whether or not your program is working. So a lot of times, people will go, New Year's resolution, or whatever, I'm starting a training program, and I'm going to work as hard as humanly possible. And then a month goes by, and 2 months goes by, and they don't have the six-pack abs and the big biceps and shoulders that they hoped for some reason they'd have in 2 months, and that's okay. I've had those hopes as well. Don't worry, we've all been there. But you don't have any measurement as to whether or not your training program is actually on the path to getting you there. Why? Because you're not actually trying to get stronger. You're not tracking your weights. So when it comes to understanding how many sets and reps I should do, everyone's different. I've met people who have great responses to 1 set to failure, and they do like 15 reps and maybe 1 set, 2 sets, and they get a lot done from that. I've met other people, I'm kind of more in this boat, where I can do lots of sets, like 8 sets, 2-3 reps of a kind of heavy weight, and then I see gains. But the point is, if you don't measure your progress from the get-go, you don't even know if your program's working for you. And then there's the time frame from which a program actually works. A program's not going to work in a week. It might take a month and a half. And eventually that month and a half goes by, you made a lot of gains. Well, maybe it's time for a new program once you start to stagnate. On top of that, your body's also likes to trick you and says, look, you're fresh to working out here. We're going to make a lot of gains right away. So your body makes a lot of gains right away. And when doing that, it makes you think, oh, this training program is the best program possible. I'm making gains. I'll make gains forever. But unfortunately, that is just not the case. Your body will not constantly make progress in a linear day-to-day fashion. It eventually will taper out. Why? Because your body is adaptable. You've given it a new environment, weightlifting, working out, and then it goes, well, I need to handle this environment. So it changes rapidly. It has these kind of, I would call them like superficial or shallow adaptations. And you get stronger and better. But that's not going to stabilize. It's not going to be there forever. So that's where a new program maybe needs to come in, but also an understanding of what a realistic time frame of adaptation actually is. How long do I expect to see change? And so to get back to the question, how many sets and reps should I do? You should do what works for you. You should do the amount that actually makes progress. And only then when you're measuring it can you begin to identify where you fall into. For myself, I like to err on the side of not so fatiguing, not so tiring, not so aggressive of a loading program, but something that allows us, me, my clients, to get a number of sets in, a number of reps in at a comfortable weight that is demanding, is challenging, but it's not exhausting. And every day, I kind of like to feel like the workout we should leave, if I came in feeling a 10, I should leave feeling an 8.5, maybe a 9. I shouldn't leave feeling a 5. I shouldn't be exhausted, but I should be worked. I should have some stress. I should have some need for recovery. And we repeat this over and over again, and that's kind of the basics. I know it doesn't sound very sexy. It's not very exciting. But hopefully it's some advice that will help with people when it comes to programming, understanding how many sets and reps you should do, and what's best for you in the time and situation. So I appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you all enjoyed.